What's going on, guys? Jake Boley with BarBend.com. Today we're going to be doing another protein bar review, and in today's video we're going to be looking at Quest Bar. Quest Nutrition got its start back in 2010, and when they designed their protein bar they had one goal in mind, and that was to give you a tasty bar that had a ton of protein with not a lot of additional sugar and additional fiber. So today's review, we're going to be doing a taste test, we're going to look at the texture, we're going to talk pros, cons, and then we're going to do a full nutrition roundup on the Quest Bar. So now let's do some taste tests. Since their beginning, Quest has created a ton of different flavors, and as you can see, we have a lot of them here. And as many of you may have tried, you guys have already probably tried at least a Quest Bar at least once in your lifetime, but you may have not tried all the flavors. So over the last month, I've been on a mission to try all these flavors, and as you can see, we have things like apple pie, strawberry cheesecake, vanilla almond crunch, oatmeal chocolate chip, cinnamon roll, rocky road, mocha chocolate chip, s'mores, chocolate peanut butter, and chocolate brownie. And now for these two bars. I did an Instagram poll to see what flavors I should try, and people actually voted for the two newer flavors, which is the blueberry muffin and then the birthday cake. So now let's dive into the taste test. We're gonna start with birthday cake. This is their newer flavor. It actually has a little bit of a different texture and construction to it compared to the other bars. It has a sprinkle kind of material on the outside, breaks apart pretty easily. So one thing that's kind of consistent with Quest bars is kind of the texture and the flavoring that comes along with them. Every bar I've noticed tastes like what they're trying to do. So this does taste like a birthday cake, but it does kind of have that like synthetically sweet kind of taste to it. It tastes good, don't get me wrong, but it does kind of have that little tinge of kind of like that synthetic sweetener taste. Now let's move on to the blueberry muffin. Similar to the birthday cake, the blueberry muffin also has chunks of blueberry and other chunks inside of it, as you can see, breaking it apart. Again, chewy texture. A lot more chunks in this bar. There are little blueberries added too. This one's good. It's very, very heavy on the blueberry taste. If you like blueberry flavored things like protein bars and other kind of sweets, I think you'll really like the blueberry muffin bar. One thing to note though, is that similar to the birthday cake, it does have that kind of synthetically sweet taste. If that doesn't bother you, I think you're gonna love this bar. But I couldn't eat a lot of these in one setting. I think for one bar, it's great. It gets that flavor across that you're looking for. It has a good texture to it. It has little pieces of blueberry in it to add additional flavor. So all in all, if I had to give these two bars a ranking out of 10, I'd give the birthday cake probably 8.5 out of 10, and the blueberry probably a 9 out of 10. So one thing I'm personally impressed with Quest bars are the flavor and texturing that come along with it. So with the texture, there's always like a nice chewy build to it. It tears apart pretty easily. For the birthday cake, you can actually see the frosting breaking off. I think that's a cool addition, especially because you can see the difference between the inside and the outside with the coating. So I think you're gonna like that if you like a good textured bar and you like a little bit of a chew, but also not excessively chewy where it's getting stuck in your teeth with every bite. I think the birthday cake does a pretty good job at that. There are sprinkles on the outside here to add a little bit of a nice texture and feel to the actual birthday cake flavoring. On the blueberry muffin, it's a little bit different. There are bigger chunks in it. So there are bigger chunks of the actual muffin material and then also the blueberry bits. I think if you want a really textured bar and you like having a little bit of bite on top of the chewiness of a normal protein bar, I think you'll really like this one. And that goes for the same for all the flavors. They're generally pretty good with having additional little bits in them to give you kind of a little bit of crunch and a little bit of extra flavor with the chewier texture. All right, so now let's talk calories, macronutrients, and ingredients. In my written review, I'll dive a little bit more into each, but in this video, I'll give you a quick overview of the calories within all the bars, the macronutrients, and then we'll do a quick listing of the ingredients. So for calories, for all these bars, you can expect to find 170 to 210 calories. For fat, you can expect to find 4.5 grams to 10 grams, depending on the bar you choose. Protein is 20 to 21 grams, and then carbs vary between 20 to 22 grams. The fiber in each bar is gonna vary a little bit. It's gonna come in at 12 grams to 16 grams, depending on what flavor, and the sugars will also vary between 1 to like 3 or 4 grams. Now let's dive into the ingredients. So for the birthday cake Quest bar, you have a protein blend made out of a milk protein isolate, a whey protein isolate, you have a soluble corn fiber, you have water, erythritol, almonds, palm kernel oil, natural flavors, and that contains less than 2% of the following, aka sodium caseinate, sea salt, gum arabic, spirulina extract, red cabbage extract, turmeric extract, radish extract, and sucralose and sunflower lecithin. And this contains milk and almonds, so obviously if you have any allergens to those, I would definitely recommend looking into that before consuming or purchasing one of the Quest bars, because they can vary a little bit in between each. But all in all, that's a quick roundup of the calories, macronutrients, and ingredients you could find in some of these Quest bars. Okay, so here's some pros that I thought come along with Quest bars. Number one, the taste. I mentioned in the taste section that there is a little bit of a synthetically sweet taste, but it's not an off-putting, like overly sweet taste where it's gonna give you a headache or even give you that kind of like nauseous feeling from having too much artificial sweetener. I think each bar does a really good job at getting the flavor across and doing so with a different kind of texture in each bar. So whether you want, like, let's say the Rocky Road or the Blueberry Muffin, you're gonna get that flavoring plus a texture that matches it. Second, the macro profile is pretty good. For fat, there's a 4.5 to 10 grams ratio between the bars. For protein, it's 20 to 21 grams, and then for carbs, it varies between 20 to 25 grams. I think that's pretty good, especially if you're on the go and you need a quick protein-heavy snack. I think that's a pretty good ratio to have. Third, these bars travel very well, I've found. So if you're throwing a bar in a backpack for later, if you're at the gym and you had a long day and you're, let's say, working out after work, I think these bars will do a pretty good job at resisting from getting crushed up in a bag or even melting for that matter. Some of the chocolate flavors might be a little bit more prone to melting, but that's standard across the board with any kind of protein or chocolate bar. And then lastly, I like that these bars are higher in fiber and lower in sugar. It's a nice additional plus. Obviously, it's not gonna be the same fiber you'd get from something like broccoli or cauliflower, but it is gonna be good at keeping you a little bit fuller and kind of keeping their sugar content lower on the day. Two potential cons I could see folks having with Quest bars are number one, the fiber content, and number two, the synthetically sweetened taste. So, as mentioned before, these bars are a little bit higher in fiber. They range between 12 to 16 grams. If you find that you get a little bit of stomach discomfort from higher fiber protein bars, like these ones have soluble corn fiber, that might be something to kind of take into consideration. That's going to be a case-by-case basis. It's not going to impact everyone in the same way, but it's something to kind of keep in mind. If you do have stomach discomfort, Quest bars might not be the best choice for you. And number two, the synthetically sweetened taste. I didn't think it was a turnoff, especially for what the bar delivers with the macro profile and the flavoring. But if you're someone who wants, let's say, whole food ingredients and you don't like that kind of synthetically sweetened taste, that could be something to take into consideration. When it comes to price of Quest bars, the price are going to vary depending on where you live in the US and also what kind of Quest bar you're buying. So for individual bars, they were going to range between $2.50 to $4, which is pretty standard across all protein bars. If you live in more rural areas, they're going to be a little bit on the cheaper side, and then if you live in like city areas, they're going to be a little bit more expensive. If you want to buy a 4-pack, they range between like $7 to $9, and that varies between the retailer you're buying from. And then for 12 packs, it ranges between like $19 to like $23, $24. And again, that's going to vary depending on where you're buying the Quest bars from. That concludes my review of Quest bars. To read my full thoughts, visit us at BarBend.com or click on the link below. Or you can search Quest bars and BarBend to find out more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to see more protein bar related content.